can feel it in your heart, and I hope it brings you comfort when this world grows dark. Let it echo through the madness, let the message pull you through. This is our Medal of Honor to you.
And now, Armed Forces Weekly with Donna Lyons on TSPN.
Welcome to Armed Forces Weekly. I'm Donna Lyons. Just around the corner, we will be remembering 9/11. On September 11, 2001, 19 men trained by al-Qaeda carried out a coordinated terrorist attack on the United States that had been planned for years. The attackers simultaneously hijacked 4 large passenger aircraft with the intention of crashing them into major landmarks in the United States, inflicting as much death and destruction as possible. 3 of the planes struck their targets. The 4th crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. In a single day, these deliberate acts of mass murder killed nearly 3,000 human beings from many countries. More than 400 of the dead were first responders, including New York City firefighters, police officers, and EMTs. It was one of the most covered media events in our history, and after more than a decade, the images are still difficult to view. These attacks and the global reaction to them have profoundly shaped the world we live in. So it remains important to see the images and just remember what happened that dark day. A single picture can speak volumes. It can evoke memories from that day. It makes you remember where you were, what you were doing. It can also bring healing and make you remember why we love this country so very much. One picture that has circulated since 2010 still speaks depths in our continued healing process and remembrance of all those who gave. It also shows that we need to teach our children that we can and will heal. It all goes back to the days and weeks following the horrible fate of 9/11. A Torrance, California firefighter, Dennis Costello, along with 32 of his Torrance firefighter brothers, traveled to New York in a show of support for the Fire Department of New York. They heard that there were very few uniformed fire service personnel attending funerals for the fallen members. This was due to the fact that all hands were still actively involved in body recovery operations down at Ground Zero. They split their group up in order to show a uniformed presence at 4 funerals over a 3-day period. One funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral was for Captain Vincent Halloran. At the service, 3 of his sons were altar boys, and his wife was pregnant, expecting their 4th son. In the uniformed engine procession following the service was New York Fire Department Engine 288 from Queens. This crew was the single hardest hit firehouse in New York, which lost 18 firefighters. This journey forever changed Dennis's life. On September 11, 2010, he had the privilege to participate in a memorial service in Long Beach, California. At that service, there were 343 small white crosses. Each cross carried a single name of all 343 New York firefighters who were murdered on 9/11. Dennis's part was to march out into the middle of the 343 crosses and play Amazing Grace on the bagpipes to help mark the opening ceremonies. His cue was to begin a slow march out into the crosses upon the completion of the song America the Beautiful, which was sung by the Women's Glee Club based in Long Beach. Dennis was ready, warmed up, and was hiding behind 2 Long Beach Fire Department engines awaiting his cue. His son, Sean, who was 4 at the time, was told to stay with Mommy and wait until Daddy was done playing the pipes. As he began to play between the engines and a slow march out into the crosses, his son, Sean, decided to follow him out. When he turned left face and entered the crosses, it was too late. He realized that the blonde-haired, blue-eyed little boy in a kilt followed him in. His son had been waving an American flag all morning and wearing a New York firefighter t-shirt. As Dennis finished playing Amazing Grace, he was positioned in front of the Women's Glee Club and brought up a slow hand salute, and that was when the photo was taken. What we teach our children is what they pass on. Dennis clearly taught his son that love of country, honoring those who sacrifice, and never forgetting is key to being a true and good American. We must remember there are many first responders who go beyond the domestic call to duty and volunteer to serve in our nation's Guard, National Guard, and or Reserve. These selfless servants have served with distinction during the past 12-plus years of conflict in both Iraq and Afghanistan, while maintaining our security both at home and on distant battlefields by fighting the away game. Many of these volunteer service members are on the rolls of those killed and or wounded in action. So today, while you go about your daily business, take a moment to remember those who put their civilian lives on hold to serve our country. Remember them, their families, who take pride and honor in defending our freedoms abroad. Take a special moment to remember those who have lost their lives defending that freedom, and please remember that freedom is not free. Those that serve in our National Guard and Reserves are more than weekend warriors. They are a vital link to our national security apparatus, and they are proud to serve. They wear both uniforms with pride and honor, and live out MacArthur's motto, duty, honor, and country. And recently at the Air Force Academy in Colorado, the first woman to lead the Air Force Academy took over the job, but Lieutenant General Michelle Johnson said she's not dwelling on the significance of the milestone. Johnson, a 1981 graduate of the school and former professor at the Academy, said her appointment is an example of the nation's willingness to give everyone a chance. Johnson told the school's 4,000 cadets that she wants them to understand the Air Force's global influence, and she stressed that its capabilities are balanced on the shoulders of sergeants and airmen. Johnson's most recent assignment was as NATO's Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations and Intelligence. She is a command pilot with more than 3,600 flight hours in largo cargo planes and aerial refueling tankers. And if you are a golfer or know someone who is there, that is one, there is a great way for you to help our veterans. The Lafayette War Veterans, which includes the American Legion, Navy League, Marine Corps League, and the VFW, are holding a golf tournament on Monday, September 9th at the Contra Costa Country Club. The golf tournament supports military and veteran patients at the Poly Trauma Rehab Center in Palo Alto. Patients are there for extended periods of time due to severe wounds. The money that comes from the tournament is directed to families residing out of the Bay Area to assist with their financial expenses so they can visit and help rehabilitate their loved ones. Over the past 7 years, the tournament has raised in excess of $200,000 supporting the wounded and their families at the Poly Trauma Center. For more information, you can contact Steve at 925-938-6364 or Jerry Sullivan at 925-253-0471. Today we have a very special guest with us, Annie De Salernos, who I met at the Wounded Veteran Run this year in Folsom. She is from the City of Sacramento Department of Parks and Recreation to talk about the many programs that she is affiliated and involved with. We will be right back after a commercial break.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.